it's another wet, rainy, miserable sort of a day here, so I've decided it's a good day to make the hot pepper jelly. Yesterday I brought one of my capsicum black pearl chili pepper plants in from the greenhouse. I don't think there's any danger of frost out there yet, but I wanted to make sure that I salvage this and bring it through the winter. It's doing so well, but kind of a gray day in here. I hope there's enough light that that's showing up, all the nice red chilies on it. These things are very hot, so I don't think I will be using all that many of them in the hot pepper jelly, although I do like it quite hot. Anyway, I will continue on and produce it for you. I should mention that this video is being produced at the request of Brendan, Bacon Soda in Ireland. I think I mentioned my hot pepper jelly at some point in one of my other videos, and he requested that I do a video when I produce this year's, so this is it being produced. I'm going to be working in the metric system. For those of you who aren't comfortable working in the metric system, below the video I will post both recipes, the metric and the English system. Also, I guess I should say that the actual recipes that I will post is the recipe that's available online at allrecipes.com. I modify it. I found over the years that some of the things that they have in the recipe, to my taste anyway, doesn't really make any difference. They recommend 390 grams of finely chopped red bell pepper and 185 grams of finely chopped green bell pepper. I've done that in the past. I've also used the fancy package that you get with the 3 different colors of peppers, the yellow, the orange, and the red. I find it doesn't make a great deal of difference. When it's all cooked up, it loses most of its color anyway, so I go with the less expensive of the sweet green bell peppers. These ones did not come out of my garden. For some reason, I cannot grow a sweet bell pepper. Hoping that will change next year. I'm going to give it one more try in the hoopos. Maybe the extra heat in there, I'll be able to produce one. Also, the actual recipe calls for 20 grams of finely chopped jalapeno pepper. I'm using 20 grams of finely chopped capsicum anum, the black pearl chili peppers, and those did come out of my garden, came out of my living room actually. I just showed you, I guess I brought the plant in. These are light years hotter than a jalapeno, so if you want a milder hot pepper relish, use the jalapeno peppers and you'll get a spicy little relish, but it won't, jelly rather, but it won't be as hot as this one's going to be with the hot chili peppers in it. Also, the last ingredients here is 1,000 grams, that's 1 kilogram of white sugar. 50 grams of powdered pectin. I'm using the brand name Certo, but any powdered pectin will do, whatever brand you use more frequently, I guess. And 235 milliliters of apple cider vinegar. And that's it. That's all the ingredients that are involved. I'll now take you through the process and show you just how easy it is to make this. I've washed and taken the seeds out of the sweet green peppers, and I've washed the hot chili peppers, but I didn't remove the seeds. Again, if you want a milder jelly, you could remove those seeds and that would make it milder again, but probably still hotter than if you were using jalapeno peppers. And as you can see, I've put them in the food processor. I tend to use the food processor, especially when dealing with hot chili peppers. You won't really notice much of a burn on your fingers from chopping them, but it remains on your fingers for hours afterwards. And if you happen to brush them by your eye or something, you're in for some surprises. Anyway, I will now give them a little whir in the food processor. That's about all there is to chopping them up with the modern convenience of a food processor, I guess. I've put a large canner on the burner and have it starting to heat up the water, because the final part of this process is to can it for 5 minutes in a hot water bath, so that's also on the go here. The first part of the process is to put the peppers that you've just finished chopping. Cider vinegar, and the powdered pectin. You put those in a saucepan over high heat. I find it best to use a saucepan that has a very thick bottom. You don't get any sticking that way, I guess. And you stir this constantly until it comes to a boil. Now that the mixture has come to a boil, you add in the sugar. And again you stir constantly, or almost constantly, I guess, until the mixture comes to a full rolling boil. Once you've got this full rolling boil again, you boil it for exactly 1 minute and then shut off the heat. I don't think the color shows up too well down in there, but just thought I'd give you an idea of what it looks like now that the sugar's been added. The recipe is enough for 6 250 milliliter jars. In the English system, I think that's 8-ounce jars. I'm using 500 milliliter jars, so I should get about 3, I guess. The mixture has now come to a full rolling boil, and I've started a timer so it will boil for exactly 1 minute. Once you've shut off the heat, you then try to skim off as much of the foam that has formed on top as possible. I think the main reason for this is just make sure preserves look nicer in the jar and don't have that foam settling on top. Also, this foam will gel up very nicely and gives the cook the first taste of the jelly. Being ever the optimist here, I have sterilized 4 jars. I only need 3, I'm sure, but it's always good to have an extra one. You never know what might have happened in your measurements. It says to fill it within a 1/4 inch of the top. I don't get out a ruler, but I think that's close enough. I didn't get quite 3 full jars. My 3rd jar there is about 1 inch from the top, but that's okay. I will use that first and leave the other 2 jars that are full for later use. The next part of the process is to put them in your canner for 5 minutes in a hot water bath. So once the water is at a boil, I'll add them to the canner, and then when the water comes back to a full boil again, I'll time them for 5 minutes, and that finishes the canning process. It's important that the jars be completely submerged in water. Mine are about 1 inch below the surface, if you can't see that in the video here. And the water is starting to return to the boil, but I don't count the 5 minutes until it has come to a full rolling boil, and then you process for 5 minutes and remove them with a special little instrument that I have here for removing hot jars, and just let them cool back down to room temperature. Well, they've had 5 minutes at a full rolling boil, so I'm going to lift them out and just let them cool down. As they cool, the gel should set. The foam that I removed from the top has set up nicely in a bowl, and I had some of it on a cracker just to taste to see what the heat is like. And I was quite pleased with it. It does have a kick, and that's what I wanted. That's my bottle that isn't quite full, the one that I'm going to use first. That's the last of them. You can see the little red flecks in there or not, but it's basically green because I used the green sweet peppers, and there are red flecks from the hot chilies and seeds throughout. Those seeds are also from the hot chilies. Anyway, there's it. It's a very simple process. I like it on cheese and crackers, particularly cream cheese. I think any kind of what am I looking for? The word chev. Any kind of a goat cheese, spreadable cheese would be nice with it. Probably would go well with a lot of different meat dishes. I'm a vegetarian, so I couldn't vote for that, but I eat it with almost anything. It's sweet and it has a nice kick at the same time. So I hope you give it a try and let me know what you think of it. Thank you for watching.